Okay, so I was having this deep ass conversation with my girlfriend, and you gotta excuse my hair. I don't really give a fuck. I don't. Like when you become a mom, you're barely breathing. Okay. I had this crazy ass conversation with my friend about the games. There is an uptick of men and women that are going through things in their relationships that are absolutely ridiculous. Like the male being extremely selfish and like thinking for themselves and being in that one track mind. And me and a friend of mine had a really deep conversation last night where I was like, I just think it's the video games. I just think it's like them being in an augmented reality gives them like a psychological effect and also an emotional effect. Like, okay, you're getting dopamine without having to work for it. So like all the men got lazy in their relationships. They can't think straight. Everything's reactionary. Everything's competitive because they've been playing fucking video games. And boys are competitive from youth. I mean, it's absolutely natural, but it really enhances it and brings it out. And, I think that if men don't play competitive sports and don't go out with their guy friends, they're going to take out a lot of energy on their girlfriends. So I feel like video games is something that should be reduced to a couple of hours. I mean, it should become their life because your brain can't tell the difference between an imagined reality and a real reality. Even though cartoons, they say it's not reality, that's what they taught us. It's 2D. It's two-dimensional, but everything is made out of light. We just have multitudes of dimensions for certain objects and things depending on the light and how it shines on it. The sun projects us. And I think that a lot of things are not reflected upon, but, projected. I mean, I know that's going to sound kind of because we are a hologram, but we're experiencing the environment in a physical sense. So it's really hard to like put your mind on that, right? But me and her it was very stimulating. It was like, it started from 3 o'clock. It went on to like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I just fucking love her to death. And I really think we're on to something here. And she was like, we need to start a podcast. Like, we need to talk about, like, you guys got to reduce your time. And, it's funny. Like, my husband, he plays the game at his guy friend's house. And he starts to get really argumentative, competitive, stubborn, just certain things. Like, he makes me frustrated, and it's just like he's actually projecting that energy because it's just certain things that he deals with that are frustrating. I mean, it's not taking things out on me. It's like a passive aggressive, I want to call it a trauma dump, but it's happening quietly. And then when he's not playing the game, completely responsible, completely loving. And then let's talk about how they're cussing in their ear and how they develop this language and they say nasty shit. And it's just like, my experience so far with my husband has been like, keep my foot on his neck, stay up his ass. And it's like, I really don't want to do that because I really think he's awesome. But I feel like his life is overwhelming and he's overwhelmed. And it's like a mentality that like when men want to escape certain situations, they'll watch their favorite movie, they'll drink, they'll go out with their friends, just try to find some inner peace. And I understand. But the only real way to truly find inner peace is to deal with your problems and not try to escape them. I'll be honest with y'all about that. Like, there's a lot of things that popped up on me later. And because, like, I didn't get over stage fright and certain things, I went to a talent audition, aced it, got on stage that night, or the night that it was supposed to happen, and completely forgot all my words. And I just want to say, it's just like, you have to practice and everything like that. That's the lesson that I learned. Like, keep practicing your song. Don't switch your song at the last minute. Those were personal values and lessons that I needed to learn. But I can understand how the mind works because I can literally feel sensations at this point. Like, meditation is amazing. And I think that men don't understand. They're meditating. They're living in an augmented reality. We covered them getting cussed out, them cussing people out. We covered the frustration, the rage quitting, and how angry they become. A lot of people, especially the ones that play games, kind of black out because of the underlying stress. And I think that a lot of people need to learn how to heal, get energies out, recycle energies, put things where they need to go, because nobody's focusing on the reality. So now the reality is glitching. And they're like, oh, that's the Mandela effect. That's this, that. I'm like, look, you don't understand. We live in a hologram. And we're experiencing this physical reality, and it's really great. But it's time to understand what we're dealing with here. And I think that the more that you play video games, it's like you're controlling that reality. So then the men become controlling. Like, I can just see so many parallels at this point of how it affects men on a psychological, I want to say psychological degree. But Because it's just, it took me so long to explain. And before I met my husband, which is a serious gamer, he was, I went to this conference with NRC from my community bank. My mom took me. We went on this great trip. I was looking at the pictures last night. I was actually sending him pictures like, you ruined me and my mom's relationship. Look at you, all this drama and shit, right? Of course, I'm gonna blame him, right? But it was called NRC, and they were telling me that when young boys or even young women experience, you know, the focus was boys though, when boys experience violence at an early age, whether it be video games, like whether it be imagined or reality, video games. I'm not talking about somebody getting punched in the face. I'm talking about death. They go in survival mode and they have trouble thinking ahead. So if you're trying to understand why your husband can't plan anything, can't do anything, you know, like, you gotta hold his hand and walk him through shit. It just seemed like he forgot how to do certain shit. Like, they might have forgot, you know, they're putting themselves through some type of low-key virtual trauma. Like I said, like, your eyes and your conscious mind is one thing, but you're dealing with multiple layers of yourself. So you have an unconscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. And I think those things get absorbed. I think those things get absorbed into the lower conscious, like the subconscious and the unconscious, where you're in an augmented reality and you're controlling certain things, but you can't control other people like that. And I'm not saying he gonna say, put your left hand in the right, and no, it'll never be like that, but it's almost like a cornering, like a video game, like he strategically traps or manipulates. It's just certain shit, like, it's crazy because somebody gonna say, well, the energy is tricky. And I'm like, okay. Like, you know, you guys see me with these Elekes on, okay? And I talk about personified gods, okay? I talk about aspects of gods, aspect of God, energy of God, and the different elements of it. Like, one sister told, well, it's not God. And I'm like, well, you're right. It's not God. Like, okay, my arm is not Aaliyah, but it's a part of Aaliyah, okay? So, like, we cannot deny that there were other parts of God that had to be released so he could separate himself to create different things, okay? The trees, the air, you know, like, well, air was the beginning, but it's like, air is thought, air is the beginning, but it's like the spark, and then, okay, that burnt out, and now that's ash, okay, or water, then that becomes mud, okay, and then trees and plants grow from that, and they need air, and then sunlight, and all this and that. So that being said, these orishas and stuff like that, they brought me a long way. This is going to tie into what I'm talking about. So my husband's name is Jesus. And I was like, okay, a lot of people want to disagree with me in the Ifa culture, and that's okay. Y'all really need to shut the fuck up, but that's okay. Like, I'm going to say this. I'm no respecter of persons. Just because you paid $12,000 for your ceremony, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, all right? But this is what I'm saying. I'm putting my foot down about it, okay? Jesus is ESHU. I don't want to hear it. Because I remember I actually talked to one other voodoo priestess. And I think just by that understanding alone, I had trumped that nigga. I really probably had him thinking like, well, what am I doing with myself? Everybody disagrees with me at first. I swear to God, it's so funny. I was like, I know this is coming. I know that your ego is going to disagree, but your mind is going to simmer. You're going to understand. We always was doing Ifa. We always was doing voodoo. There's no way to escape it. This is West African, Yoruba, Santeria. I'm Cuban. My mom, Cuban, Bahamian. This is what we do. My husband is Puerto Rican. He's from a certain part, or his family's from a certain part of Puerto Rico. And that's why we met. Like, you be like, oh, well, why? Or interracial. But our ancestors are from the same island. So is it that y'all categorize me as black when I was really Latino? Or is it that he's black? Because he get around them niggas, I swear to God, okay? He just 4 shades removed. I swear to God, he be doing Negro dances. I be like, I did not marry I wanted a Latino man. I'm tripping. But later on down the line, like, I was like 20-something when I said that. Later on down the line, I guess I predicted my life, and I'm sitting up here and I'm looking at his name. I'm like, okay, ESHU ELLEGBARA. Now, I go to the Santeria and the Yoruba shop. You know, we in Atlanta. I go over there sometime. And then one day, I'm looking at the ESHU, It's ESHU ELLEGBARA. Okay, so it's basically Jesus and God. But you guys don't understand. Jesus was a God in a sense of like in this realm, but had to die to become the God. So like there's an ESHU. This is my theory. I mean, and it's probably accurate, but you know, I'm gonna say theory for, you know, I don't want to offend anybody, okay? Because I think it's ego shock. I think it's ego death more than offense. And it's like, now I'm looking at the situation. I'm like, oh, okay, on the cross is like pathways. Like I was explaining to her last night, if anybody knows about the cross, it could be folded into a box. If anybody knows about the Jesus Christ cross, it could be folded into a box. And then you go over to Islam, you go over to some Middle Eastern countries, they got this black box and they're walking around it. Okay, that's God. That is the first conscious beginning of God when it set up its own structure and it became a form. Okay, so we're talking about Jesus, ESHU ELLEGBARA, unfolded and then folded up. Now let's talk about the symbology. And I talked to her about this last night. Let me see if I can get this, because there was so much information I'm trying to pack it into a few minutes. So the symbology of somebody dying on the cross is your ego dying, meaning that lean not into your own understanding. Like, this is science, okay? This is not religion. We need to stop. We need to stop. We need to stop waiting for Jesus. God told me to tell y'all responsible for you. Okay, here we go. God told me to tell y'all, you responsible for you. You can pray for enlightenment. You can pray for guidance. You can pray for a break. But your path is your path and you need to walk it and live it. There's no way around it. And when I figured that out, that's when everything started to work out for me. Now, not everything works out for me. I might drink some caffeine. Like, I could say the worst things that I've been through has been from food. Has been from like the wrong chicken, the wrong soda, the wrong time to eat it, the mixture of certain things. My brain, like this, when they say your second gut is in your stomach, that's real shit, because I can't think when I got a shit. I don't know about anybody else. Yeah, I asked myself one day, what happens when I wake up and I keep it completely real? And, you know, that's what came out. So my whole thing is back to the conversation. Jesus unfolded. Jesus in the box. And you know how when you meditate, you sit and you sit, and I understand your shit looks like a triangle, but that's your square. Your square, and staying on your square is like your beginning. Like, square is meditation. It's like being in a state of meditation. So that's what God was, thoughts. And it became, okay? And not only became, it literally came. And it might make people feel uncomfortable, but I seen lightning turn into liquid. And I was like, that's nut. That is, if we talk about Elohim and light and energy, and like, the only thing that we got fucked up is we keep physical. We keep on like getting into this, and like, that's not where it's at. It's really like spiritual. I know that this is the result of it, but even as we touch ourselves, like, we living in the past. You understand? Like, I don't know if you guys get it. Like, we've already lived this moment is what I'm trying to say. So everything about the cross, unfolded, folded, Jesus came to tell you about faith, but it's like he was trying to teach people about their spiritual, like, I seen this painting where he had came back at one point in time and he was looking up at the sky praying. And he was like, oh my God, look, he had his face on like everybody's fucking dumb. Oh my God. And I figured it out. I was like, yeah, he came back. Like, he keeps coming back. Okay. And if Jesus doesn't come back as a personified form or representation, or symbology, you'll have a personal experience. You know, Jesus means Jupiter. So it's just kind of like Jupiter expands things, right? And you know that we're here to grow. And I mean, I could just say so much about Taurus, and this is Terra, and Terra is Taurus, and that means Earth, and Sagittarius is the sage of Taurus. So there's the sage of Taurus. So they know how to do certain things. I mean, it's just so much that we're missing that I've been blessed to connect. And it's like, I've had to contemplate and really understand how to explain certain things, how to describe certain things. And like, you know, I'm not worried about looking crazy no more. That's out the door. You know, I'm not worried about my hair no more. That's out the door. I try to keep my face clean. But like, to produce these videos, you got to have some sort of confidence. It's hard for me to get on here really, because I don't have time. But I've gotten over everything, and I'm willing to talk about everything and hear people's views. I mean, we can agree to disagree. You can like, comment, and subscribe. And we can agree to disagree, but I believe that all the cultures, like, we could talk about Krishna in the Hindu culture and how that was, blue, their blue skin in the descriptions in not Vedic, that's the astrology, in the, in the Hindu religion or Hindu spiritual practice, really. Those people were blue because they were black blue, and because you couldn't really paint their features with, black. Like their features wouldn't stand out. So they used a color that was closest to what we could describe. Like Lisa Frank is like one of my favorite artists because she's the type that takes black and just says, no, fuck the black. Let's just put purple there. Black's too much. And I'm like, okay, cool. So those are like one of the, like, this is how I can describe and prove that I know that Krishna was black as fuck and they painted him blue so we could see his features and understand and see him depicted into stories. Okay, and we got Kali is red, and I'll be like, was that white people? You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm mixed with white. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why I'm bold about my shit. Like, I do understand a lot of certain things about that culture, but it's like, they turn red in the sun. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I'm like, were we all here before? And certain colors. Like I look back in the day at all the ancient buildings, like from the 18th century and the 19th century, where there was giants walking the earth, and they just really don't want to let you know that you're a god. They really don't want you to know you're a god and a goddess. Like fucking with these deities and like having a relationship with God. Like God is like, what you want to do today, Aaliyah? What you want to do today? When you guys sat up there in church and try to tell everybody, don't question God. And I love the fact that you guys don't want to accept that God is the devil and God too. There is no devil, and you should never create a mental construct outside of yourself to personify any negative energies. Don't make it bigger than what it is. That's why you guys are having paranormal, scary experiences. You got to raise your vibration by thinking positive. Think positive. Okay? And I'm not even saying that I don't have any negative. I just call my mom like, Mom. I just panic. Don't get it fucked up. Listen, I could cry right now. Honey, I can't say life is hard. I could say it's challenging. It's difficult. I think people make life hard. But if it wasn't for people, and I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say if it wasn't for people making life hard, it would be beautiful. I think we need gatekeepers of the community again. I feel like video games stole a lot of shit. And like, I almost forgot. Where is it at? Eleke. Okay, this Oi. She said, Oi. Wee. That's what the babies say when they're... Oi, it represents the people going out and the people going in. I really think Jesus represents people going out. ESHU, ELLEGBARA, represents people going out their pathway and how they're going to walk it. But Oi represents children coming in and... like the breath. Like I get a lot of with these. Like I will walk down the street, I will raise my hands up, and I know people can do this on a regular, but this shit be I'm like, okay, I know you with me, child. And like all the flies. That's what I'm saying. You guys don't understand that every movie is about Jesus. They trying to wake your ass up. But Jesus is he's us, and Yeshua is yes you are. You are the gods and the goddesses, and we're reflections of one another. And I mean, it gets kind of creepy because I feel like I'm in a single point when I talk about that. And like, I need to be careful. I don't want to like split my energy and double up on the screen. It's 3 of her. But follow what I'm saying here. I remember I went into this place and they were telling me, yeah, ESHU ELLEGBARA likes video games. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? ESHU ELLEGBARA is depicted as a child. And I'm like, okay. So it was a child that grew to learn things and then, became ELLEGBARA. And like, even listen to that, ELLEGBARA. That L is electricity, and then leg, and then gua. And I understand like it could be as an air. So ELLEGBARA. So basically your legs and the legs that you walk on and the fact that you got legs, like they had Papa Legba and all them different things. Just the fact that you got legs is like a complete blessing because we're from the water for real. And like nobody really wants to talk about that, but you got water in your mouth, you got water in your eyes, I mean, like, what the fuck? It's water in the air. You know, you need water, I'm dying. You know, and they call that mercy. They call that well, it's called Yemaya. Okay, or Yemaya, or Mother Mary. It's all the same, you guys. It's all the same. The Catholic religion, Mother Mary, the Black Madonna, and the Roman Catholic Church. Like, a lot of the Europeans around the world are upset with you guys because you guys gave up. It was never any racism. It's just that they were trying to test you. This is like a whole program. And y'all didn't understand that. And I think that's really the problem why people encounter racism. I don't think I didn't encounter racism, but a lot of people think I did not encounter racism because of my skin color. I don't call it racism. I call it ignorance. If you're ignorant to why I'm in your life and you can't learn from me and you're ignoring, like, nagardly means ignoring things, but like when I call people niggas and stuff, like, people take super offensive, like, oh, it's racism. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Nagardly is a word that means ignorance, and it means you're just ignoring things completely. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, wake up. And yeah, ESHU ELLEGBARA, it means video games. It means, like, video games remind you that life is a game. Video games are here to remind, like, I was like, why is this in my face? Like, it's such a message. And this is why God is the divine trickster. Like, they call the devil the divine trickster, but like, I wouldn't separate. Don't try not to separate. See how your experience is, because the negative things you're going through in your life is because you're hard-headed. You're not opened up and seeing things. And taking a daily routine and meditation will really help you get more enlightened, so you don't have to go through something. Like, think about it. Enlighten, light activity, light thoughts. You know what I mean? Compared to like heavy shit, because you're not really paying attention and listening. I don't know if you guys really can understand where I'm coming from. I hope this helps. I'm open to any questions at all, any debates at all. You can comment it down below. I really want my Ifa princesses and my priests and my voodoo, you know, my voodoo hoodoo people, because I think I'm starting to understand that's the only people that understand me. Like, I'm not isolated. I'm not alone. It's just that I never found the right friends. Like, I was always looking at people like they were more powerful than me when I was on their level. And like, I'm friends with my psychics. It's so crazy because I met this girl online and she was like so cool, yo. And like, we are friends. We do text here and there, and I really love it. I love the fact that God does talk to me. It does talk to my heart. And it's like, Aaliyah, this is who you are. Just everything about God, you know, God means word, means Huda. Huda in Sanskrit, and it means to invoke. Like, now they're trying to say, well, we don't know where the word God came from. No, don't do that shit. It's from the word Huda. Sanskrit is like an ancient language, and it looks like a lot of body forms too. Like, I don't know if anybody can see that. Let me see if I can see that. Look, see, do you see how this symbol looks like a person meditating? Did you see that? Let me see if I can see this other one. Yeah, and this one looks like somebody sitting down and reaching out. Like, it's crazy. It's basically telling you that if you just meditate, you're gonna pick up on a signal. See the signal? A lot of this shit is alien, but because they made it entertainment based, you're not gonna take it seriously. But a lot of this shit is alien, Sanskrit, ancient, and they hid the giants, they hid the spaceships, they hid a lot of shit. They just want you to focus on here. I don't know why. I don't got nothing to do with that. I guess it was all about discovering self, forgetting self who you are, discovering self, forgetting self who you are. Because every time you come back, you're going through, I mean, like, I could talk about how you're going through different planetary alignments, right? And how, I don't even know how I'm going to explain this to anybody that doesn't understand this concept. I hope that you can pick it up with your heart, if not your imagination. But let's just say that each planet has its own element, okay? And this is the ORISHAs. The ORISHAs are the angels of the planet. And the ORISHAs are the angels of your chakra system, okay? So they represent a frequency code that gets played back and forth. And you can block certain frequencies and the chakras will be thrown off, or you can do certain things energetically and your chakras will be thrown off. But they are sending you constant signals. You can heal everything in the body with meditation. If you don't have food, if you don't have water, if you don't have anything, if you're afraid, if you, like Psalm 91 is one of the Bible verses that talk about this. Like, he who rests in the secret place of the Most High will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I'll say the Lord, he's my refuge, my fortress. And I've even encountered jealousy because I just have so much inner peace. There's things that I go through I don't understand that I have trouble with, but I have inner peace. I feel like I do come back to center point, me personally. I don't know about anyone else. I'm just saying, like, I think that we should start meditating more. We should start, like, if, for instance, you want to do banking and finance and you wanted that type of world, that should have been in school. So we have a chance to now take over the society, take over the communities in our own small microcosm, and build the communities and the villages that we want to see. Because, like, we let people do their thing, and, like, that was for nothing. Like, I don't understand how they could take something that was so plentiful and so everlasting. Like, these trees will, if you treat this earth right, it will produce food forever. I don't know why y'all got on the video games and let our whole lives fall apart. Like, we don't have protection. Our men aren't strong. If the army wanted to come in and take anything, like, they separated y'all with COVID. Like, if they ever wanted to do anything to y'all, they could, because you guys are distracted and you're not strong enough to really deal with the issues that are happening. You guys were completely irresponsible and caused the housing crash for real. Like, you guys needed to think about the future, but how could you do that if you watching violence on TV? So when you don't think about the future, you buying shit, you doing shit, you making other people money, then they use this money system, which is fucking fake, to take over your whole life. And you're like, no, but you can't say anything because you use money too, you agreed to it. And you'll never have enough guns to face the army, right? Well, guess what? People are quitting from the army. I guess they're going to make AI robots, because that's what I saw in the fucking future, is they got AI robot dogs. Oh, no, this wasn't a Netflix movie. This was way before that. This was way before they made Boston, the dog, and all that. I seen dogs, and, like, they've been trying to do this. They've been trying to create other things besides humans to kill humans for so long. But it's not going to work. It's not going to work. All the things y'all want to do to destroy other people is just not going to work. Because there is a God, and I know that y'all trying to test God and say, well, where is it at? You know, you got to be dead to see that nigga, because he died too. I mean, if you're a human being and you're a God and your parents were human, right? Just for lack of a better word, like, it's not even, you know, my dad used to say that. If you sit up there and you human, your mom and dad was human, their mom and dad was human, God was human. Like, you guys make it so bigger. Like, you make it so much bigger than what it really ever was. And that's why it's so hard to take responsibility, because you guys are always making something else apparent. Y'all are always, like, my dad was like, he said some deep shit one day. He was like, a parent makes things apparent for the child. And I was like, what the fuck? That's deep as hell. And I was like, I can't believe I didn't see that. And see, now I'm seeing it, like a parent is making something known, enlightening you to something. So my whole thing is like, your God, when you, and it shows you something, it's enlightening you, right? Or just, it's making your energy lighter. Like, we can say it in so many ways. There's so many dimensions to one word. That's why we just need to be careful talking, period. What we watch, what we eat. Like, all of that. We need to meditate. We need to make sure this is what we want to eat. Does our body agree with it? You know, what type of creature are we? What type of bloodline do we have? You know what I mean? Some people are reptilian. They need meat. Some people are leukemia. They need fish. They want fish more than anything. Some people, like, there's bloodlines that aren't from this earth. There's other things going on, like the Basque Republic. If you look between Spain and France, there's a DNA particle within my husband. You know, he's B negative or whatever. So that means that he's a part of, like, an ancient bloodline that hasn't even, like, they touched down here on Earth and, like, that was it. And even though he made it outside his bloodline, a female that has B negative blood can't just mate with anybody. Now, I have O positive blood. So what I'm saying is, and I'm like, positive blood means like you got animal in you or something like that. And I'm not really sure if that, just because, okay, so you have two bloods in you. You have your mom and dad's blood, but one blood becomes dominant. Okay? So that's one aspect to it. So I'm not saying that he's not an animal. I am an animal. Or whatever. I'm just saying that it's time to understand who we are, because he is completely spiritually sensitive. And he is a psychic empath, and he's like fucking running from it. Okay, whatever. Because his family brainwashed him into being regular, because they're regular. Because they want to be regular. But I'm like, that's not your path. That's what you, I mean, this nigga, he's bad with the tarot. bad with tarot. And, you know, I'll sit up there and watch him go make money at a job for $10, $20 an hour when he can sit here and make that all day reading tarot. Anyway, it's okay. I have to lead by example. I feel like everybody eventually going to open up to their gifts because they're not going to have a choice. It's time to stop categorizing. Oh, I'm crazy. I'm bipolar. I'm this, that. No, bitch. Stop drinking. Stop eating chemicals. Stop eating foods that you know are no good for you. Stop watching shows that make you feel like shit, because everybody has a different bloodline. Everybody has a different background, different family, different traditions, different things that they do to maintain their energy, really. You know, like Christmas and how we just say fuck Christmas and it's Satan's holiday. You know, that's really kind of fucked up, because there's no Satan. Like, there's none of that bullshit. Like, that means Saturn, Lucifer's Venus. So you're demonizing and cursing your ancestors and yourself and your elemental spirits that you need to fucking survive. Like, okay, there's a God and that's your all spark, but that would be the fire of everything else that is water, Mother Mary. Your legs, your feet, your shoes, ESHU, your feet, ELLEGBARA, your legs. That's why my dad said to me, study all religions. But I went deeper than that. I went from religion to spiritual practices, and like that's where I found my freedom at. That's where I was like, okay, I don't gotta obligate to this, because sometimes I wake up for Sunday service and my back hurt and I'm feeling sick, and they're like, see, that's the devil, you got to come through. Then they sit up there, you sitting there sick as a motherfucker, they let me get $20. And it's just like, it was just a money grab. It was just fucking manipulative. Like, I'm telling you, these charlatans and how they set up here, they made all the spiritual system confusing for people. That shit, they was federal agents, to be honest. They're fucking CIA. How they come in, they say, oh yeah, da da da. And you can't even understand your left from right when it's right there in front of you. You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find this fucking camera. Like, I wish they had a dot here so I can look in it. I'm up here looking at myself. The fuck? So, all I'm saying is I would love for y'all to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm getting 32 minutes. I'm actually, gotta go do something, but I'm gonna sign back on again. I wanted to hear what y'all think of the video games with the ESHU parallel, the ESHU legs. Like, think about it. If ESHU ruled video games, because video games were supposed to remind you that life's a game, and your shoes and your legs represent your path, that's all you're focusing on. Your path is playing a game, and it might be a possibility that it unfolds in ways that people play games with you because you're just so busy playing games. Also, I'd like to note, on a side note, I did see messages in the games, so the games do seem spiritual, but it's nothing like the game of life itself. It's nothing like eating a piece of orange from the grocery market and then taking it outside and planting it, and then now you have an orange tree. It's almost sexual. It's almost sexual how you can, like, and I mean in the creative sense, not, oh, dick and cootie, you know, like, sexuality, sex, orgasm, nirvana, euphoria is all, like, from God, okay? You can get it from the sun, all right, this euphoria. And I believe in photosynthesis. That was one of my last videos where we talk about photosynthesis. You eat meat, it hurts your pores, and meat, heat, beat, you know, diabetes. Take the B out. If it was diabetes, y'all would get it. And I remember one day I was out in the sun all day long, no sweat, wind blowing for me. For some reason, I guess I tapped into some type of vibration being a vegan. Like, no, a vegan, like wake up fruit. Okay, like I probably had some floral, you know, like when they say flour, that is from a wheat germ, that's from a plant. Rice is from a plant. So you can eat some of these things when you're taking a fast. I was taking like a weight loss fast, but then it just got real spiritual. I started to see spaceships. I started to see certain shit. And I do want other people to experience that. I just feel like y'all might not be ready. And it's not because they didn't tell you. Okay? They're telling you all the time. I mean, I just don't think y'all are ready for the particular structures. There's a lot of hidden things. Like when you go on these diets and you know, get this poop out your butt and you get your system clear, you start feeling yourself, like literally, like, oh, she feeling herself. Like, no, I'm feeling myself. Like, I can feel my brain thinking. Like, I can feel the sensations and like pressure points in my head, like when I'm remembering something, when I'm thinking of something, when I'm moving my hand And it's just beautiful. Like, it really cleaned out so much that I think is what we can call calcified. And I really loved it, every moment of it. If you comment and like and share and subscribe, I will tell you. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I want people to be serious. I'm not trying to like just give away secrets and then all this shit's bought up on Amazon, or the government's like, oh, we're shutting this down. Like, I don't got time for that shit. You know, I really try to keep these videos to a minimum, with minimum subscribers, and I know that's gonna sound fucking crazy, but I don't want everybody to know everything. Like, just like everybody else, only special people are going to get to this video. Only special people are going to see this, that need to see this. And this is not no voodoo tarot thing, even though I always wanted to do that. Like, show people how to do, like, voodoo spells, show people how to do tarot, or show people tarot for the day. I would love to do that. I just need to set myself up to be more consistent. Right now, it's just been talks and experimental pick of cards, and I hope y'all enjoy that. Back down below. And I need to learn how to get on YouTube Studio and create and categorize videos and timestamps. But my kids have the laptop most of the time because it fits on that little shelf in their room. And it's like really great, so they don't have to come out and harass us when we want to watch TV. So I'm going to get to it. I'm just moving on slowly because I want to make sure that this information is like correct and relatable. If it's not really true, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's true to me, but it might not be true to you. So just let me know. I love y'all. Thank you so much for listening. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I'd like to hear some shit about these advanced concepts. Tell me if you had a glitch in your matrix. Tell me if you're trying to work on things in reality, you need help. Comment down below. Is this where you point at? Good night.